The number one way to lose deals is by being too passive. I always tell my team, listen, I'll never get onto you by being too aggressive, by calling that seller, wholesaler, realtor over and over and over again until you get that deal, writing multiple contracts, like whatever you got to do to get that deal across the finish line, you got to do. But being too passive is when you feel like someone is going to tell you no because you're too aggressive, because you're bothering them too much, because you get under their skin or something like that. Nothing could be further from the truth. A motivated seller is motivated to sell, period. And the only thing that keeps them from being able to actually sell is a contract that you both agree on. Once you get to that point, the deal's over. So if they want for you to stop calling them or writing them offers, put the property under contract. Let's actually go do a deal. Earlier this week, I had a team member who had been had been engaged with this person for weeks on end as a wholesaler looking to sell a house for weeks on end. And we did our morning meeting. And I said, well, wait a second. Why are you still pursuing this? This person has told you no, it's not going to work. Why are you still pursuing this? And she said, well, Brad, you told me you'll never get on to me if I'm too aggressive, only if I'm too passive. I said, hey, you're using my words against me. I appreciate that. That's right. That's exactly the correct principle. And so what happened? She got the deal. We closed next week. And so my whole point to this is getting a deal is difficult. There needs to be distress in the situation, but there also needs to be a ton of action. I had dinner last night with somebody who the only place that they find their deals is off the MLS through realtors. He says, oh yeah, I haven't bought a deal in years. There's just nothing out there. And I said, well, we buy deals all the time. Number one, you're fishing in the wrong pond. The MLS is not my preferred area to go. I prefer dealing with wholesalers or even better than that, just being direct to the sellers where we're actually in contact with them via marketing or whatever it might be. But he's talking about how he can't get deals, hasn't been able to get deals in years and years and years. That's because he's fishing in the wrong pond. But then he said the other thing is because then when I go and look at these deals, they're nabbed up too fast before I can do my due diligence, before I get my contractor out there, before I can even figure out what the comps are and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, yeah, you know why? Because of people like me. We're taking your lunch because we understand the game. We understand speed is the biggest deal. Persistency is the biggest deal. That you've got to be able to analyze the deal, figure out what the rehab is, make an offer, and not just an offer, a written offer ultimately gets accepted because it makes sense for everybody involved. And we understand that we're not going to bat 1,000. We've got to put deal after deal after deal or offer after offer after offer in order to go get that deal, in order to get that property under contract. So taking 3 days to do due diligence and another day or two to talk with your contractor and then write an offer to someone, that's the easy way to not get deals. That's called passivity. Passivity and being passive does not work in my office. We want to be aggressive. We want to be kindly aggressive. Frankly, they say, we've sold it to someone else, we're done. We're never going to sell to you. I have rarely had a time, I don't think I've ever had a time when a seller has said, you know what, the reason I'm not selling to you is because you were too aggressive. I have had many times when the deal has shriveled up because I was too passive. I didn't want to bother them. They said, hey, wait until Monday. Monday doesn't work for me, right? Today works for me. Simply put, if someone gave me that, let's say we're, towards the end of the week and someone's like, oh, let me get the weekend to think about it. I said, well, hey, I appreciate that. But, listen, I'm looking for, I've got 2 or 3 other deals I'm looking at. I like your deal the best. I'd prefer to buy yours, but I've got to tell these other people yes or no, and I'm not going to hold them up. So if this doesn't work for you, just let me know and I'll just go buy these other 2 deals. But if it does work for you, let's put it under contract. Let's move forward. Then they say, oh, well then, no, I need to wait the weekend. I need to talk to my partner. I need to say, oh, wonderful. Then my offer is off the table. There's nothing for you to discuss. You can have a nice weekend. And I'm going to go buy one of these other two houses. And you just take it away from them and make it so that they understand, no, I am not going to be playing your game. You're going to be playing my game. I'm the one with the money. You're the one with the distressed house that you need to sell very quickly. And if they still say, okay, no problem, guess what? They're not motivated enough to actually get you a deal. Guys, stop buying properties. start buying deals. And in order to buy a deal, you've got to deal with someone who is, you got to work with someone who is motivated, a seller that is motivated, a wholesaler that wants to get this thing done, or a realtor who's representing a seller who wants to get the deal done. Stop trying to stick square pegs into round holes. Move on. There's plenty of distress out there.